Hello and welcome back to the roads of Elden Ring. Today we're in the third episode of the Black Keep, or the Shadow Keep, whatever. And I hope it's also the final episode. There are a few things we have to do today in this episode, which first one is the Church District. We're completing this one with and without water. Then possibly the fight against Mesper. Maybe I'm doing this separate in a boss fight showcase, whatever. Then there is the secret passage, plus this boss over here, which will be a separate video as well. And then we might want to have a look at this long-ass bridge over here. Right, plus another boss that should be somewhere down here. Should be over here, to be specific. So maybe next episode going to be a big boss analysis video, whatever, something similar to that. But for now we are starting off with the Church District over here, which is the second entrance. The entrance over here, we've discovered this a bit before in the series. And today we're going to approach this place from this angle, because there are two ways here. One should lead into the second area of the Specimen Storehouse, in the area that we could have seen from the other floors but couldn't reach. And the other one should, if I remember correctly, lead us to this place over here, and then also this place. We will see. I'm getting kind of confused. I still think that I missed something in the other one, but I also don't think that I missed something. We will see. First thing we have to do is jump down on these rooftops. And then we have a few items over there. And a nice, interesting mechanic. Pretty cool mechanic. Pretty cool use of a certain mechanic. If we fall down into the water, we are dead. As usual. But that doesn't mean that you can't exist under the water. Let me explain in a short time. This should trigger. Right. There is something in the water. And it's not dead. Because that thing is underneath the death box of this place. And this is not a new enemy type. And the cool thing is, because it's spawned right now, the thing what's supposed to be is like a monster in the water. Which is pretty cool, you can hear it moving around. Feels kind of like the Sekiro big carp kind of thing in the... What is it called? In the palace thingy. Where you had this big ass fish underwater and you had to avoid it. Kind of feels like this. This is an ulcerated tree spirit that is underneath the or on the water, under the water, and it's completely harmless. At least so far, never attacked me. I don't even. There shouldn't be any attacks that attack you, but it's kind of unnerving hearing that thing underneath you, and you're not really sure. Like, you can aim at it, but you're not really sure what it is until you are fairly close. Let's see if I can get a better view. Ah, there it is. It's kind of hard to see, but it's an ulcerated tree spirit. Looks kind of like a underwater monster, but it's in fact an ulcerated tree spirit. Very cool idea without needing a new monster design that you only use once and then discard again. Pretty cool. Using the already existing assets to make something unique is always nice and refreshing to see. But this is that. It's only for this one upgrade item. Spirit ash upgrade item. And then you can keep on going here. And the layout is fairly simple. We have these rooftops here, then this part over there that we just did with the first ulcerated tree spirit, and then we have this part, next rooftop, and the church is your final fun destination, so to speak. Here we need to jump over to this side. Then there will be a few zombies spawning, which is also unique to this place. Someone is summoning these zombies, but I think they will also spawn once the summoner, quote unquote, is dead. So it's not really doing anything, and I triggered this one now. Yeah, they blow themselves up. No new enemy type. And also not really a new mechanic. Enemies endlessly spawning. We have this mechanic already in other areas. Even a Dark Souls 3 to think of. And this one is supposed to be the Summoner. It's a special version of the Fire Knights. It's a more magical version. As you can see, this one has a short dagger. Or a long dagger, whatever. A shorter weapon. Not the great sword that we know. And a special mask on top of that. Then here we can see, first of all, second ulcerated tree spirit is spawning over there. But then we can see this path over here, which leads to an elevator that gets us to the second part of the storehouse. And come to think of it, where does this place lead to? This should lead to this area over here. And then if we continue downwards, this should lead to this area. Let's see if I'm correct. Should be correct. Here we need to get on top of the church. Only way of doing that is by jumping over here, which is also kind of unnerving because, well, you have this monster spawning there. And then also a fairly difficult looking jump. In fact, it's pretty easy, but it looks difficult. And I think, I might be wrong here, but no, you need to run for this, right? Because I'm pretty sure that you can manage every jump without running, but with this one I might be a bit, I'm a bit on the edge, I'm a bit unsure. Because there are a lot of jumps that you can just make by walking and jumping. A lot of jumps. Even jumps where you would think, like, no, you need to run for this. No, you don't. But for that one, I'm kind of uncertain. So here we now need to find a way of getting into the church. Pretty easy. Jump on these things, whatever these are. There's a useless item over there that you can grab. I think these are just some feathers. Not really worth pursuing, but let's do it anyways. I mean, my hands are getting kind of sweaty doing this right here. Yeah, just some useless feathers. I don't really like these kind of levels that are narrow pathways or walkways where you fall down a great distance. What do we do now? We drop one floor below us. And that's that. If you got invaded by the... I forgot his name. By the Mesmer follower invader that invades you in two different places, in the Church of Crusade and in Ballarat on in this place, not in the Ballarat jail, but in this round location over here. Then you have a key that opens this door. The prayer room key.
America, mother to us all, favor me with thy grace. I have met many who would threaten or distress thee, and quelled each and all. And I hereby swear to never cease. So please, grant me thy grace. leave me with my solitary light.
And here we have another fairly interesting mechanic, or not really mechanic, but maybe quest line, whatever you want to call it. There are 2 items. Let's see if I have any of these items. I don't even know where to find them. I mean, I should have every item, but that doesn't mean that I do have every item, right? It's not one of these. Maybe it's a key item. No. It should be over here, I don't know. Maybe I'm just blind. But I don't know the names off the top of my head, so I want to look them up. Oh no, I do have them. Nice. Okay. We have these 2 items. Iris of Grace and Iris of Occultation. And don't care about the lore. The only use of these items, there are 2 of each in the game per playthrough. And you have 2 NPCs. One of the NPCs is this dude. And when we talk to them, there's what's another NPC, not related to this one, I think. When you're far enough with the quest line, quote unquote quest line, I get the prayer room key. So this quest line is done, I guess. If you can call it a quest line to Invasions, and then you get the key to his physical body. But you have the decision. When you talk to this dude, you have the decision, if you have acquired these items already, to give him one or the other items. This one, the Iris of Grace, with this NPC and with the other NPC as well, will gift you their weapon. And if you give them this one, the Iris of Occultation, then you get not the weapon, but the NPC as a spirit ash over here. Let's see if I have him. By any means, he should be there, really, right? But I don't think. No. Maybe he's in the box. Or maybe he's under here. But I don't. Oh, he should be there. There he is. Oh, that's Hilda. That's a different Fire Knight. There he is. Fire Knight, Quellen, whatever. You get this Spirit Ash if you give him the Iris of Occultation, and you get his weapon, and I think also Ash of War, which is... Is it even the weapon? You get a weapon, I think it's not the Great Sword. He has a thrusting sword, a heavy version. Yeah, Quillen's Great Sword, there. And you get this thing, which looks more like a spear than a thrusting sword, but what do I know? If you give him the other thing. Let me show you.
Queen Marika, I implore thee, bestow thy grace. Take not from me my solitary light.
Basically, let's be nice to him or let's be mean to him. He invaded us and tried to kill us, so it's only fair to give him the Iris of Occultation, but give him which reward you want most. Let's give him the Iris of Grace, because I consider this the better reward, at least for your first playthrough, because Mimic Tier just rules, or the Black Knife Assassin, or whatever is your favorite summon. This one is not that good.
Queen Marika, dearest mother, I shall silence all who would trespass upon thy peace, as decreed by the grace of gold. No soul shall thy sanctity imperil.
And he's gone. Give me your stuff. I can't get this stuff right. Yeah, because I already have it. Yeah, unfortunate. Doesn't matter though. I already have it. Let's continue in this place. Maybe if you don't have the items yet, you will find them soon enough because they're in this place. But up ahead. Just keep on going. We have a few items here and there. Don't ask me what kind of weird church district pieces these are. Weaponized everything, like weapons here, pikes there. Why this whole place can be flooded is also weird. How the flooding works is also weird. Like, you had to pump the water from some. I mean, there's enough water around, but anyways. Now we have a few decisions that we can make, which way we go. This one leads upwards. The other path that we just saw over here leads to the thing that can drain the water. Then over here there is a death. This is a shortcut. This is an elevator soon enough, but where is the... Right. Over here you can jump over there and grab the thing. I think it's a shadow tree fragment. I won't do it. The risk is too high right now. I don't want to waste any time. But the jump is doable. And the jump back is also doable. Here we have a few bats. Be careful with the bats. And then just have to do the small jump where apparently a few people during invasions will die because they don't see the jump and they feel pressure to press on. And we have to climb up this ladder. Don't ask me why there's a ladder. I've criticized the castle design long enough. It's kind of weird. But let's open the water park, or let's close the water park, I should say. Kind of reminds me of the new Londe ruins. There's probably an homage to that, right? But this time we don't have dark graves down here. I mean, this kind of makes sense that we have gates there where we can get rid of the water. But how did the water get in here in the first place? That's what I want to know. That's the big question. But nice, now we have another level to explore. Yeah, nice overview shot of this place. Can be a screenshot. Is it? Which button? Ah, shit. I'm just clicking some buttons in the hopes of creating a screenshot, because that's actually nice. Possibly a nice thumbnail. But I don't think I just made it a screenshot. I don't know which my shortcut is. Because I made a new shortcut. What you can do now here is jump down this place. Soon enough we will find a way that leads back up again. So yeah, let's just jump down this weird ass tower thing. Grab this item and activate the Site of Grace that we have seen, which is in this building here. Right. Site of Grace activated. And while we are at it, let's keep going. I don't know why I activated this. There are a few things down here. The way onward is through this main church kind of thing, cathedral, that we jumped on the rooftop. This one leads to that place. That's the main path. On the way there, we've seen it before, are two ulcerated tree spirits, or actually just one. That was the first underwater monster. then let's explore the optional area first. Over here, there's another shortcut. Kinda nice that this one exists, but there's no real reason for this shortcut, because why? We just had a site of grace, now we have another site of grace. Feels kind of weird that this exists, but it's kind of nice that this one exists, just for world building purposes, not necessarily for level design purposes, but because for level design this is quite useless. It's really quite useless. Is there a point of coming back here? I don't think so. And here we have a few crabs, nothing special. This one ambushes you apparently, as we've seen by the trigger. They're just hiding some items here, nothing major as you can see. I'm not really fond of this place, it feels kind of barren. Even for an underwater level, this doesn't feel like underwater enough. And the enemy types and the rewards are kind of meh. Next, ulcerated tree spirit. Who would have thought? Let me see what this item is. Just some strings. Alright. What I always find weird about this place are some of the placements of like doorways and such. Kind of feels disconnected. Then we have this big ass gap over here. Like, why? This is supposed to be a church district. I mean, the church part is clear, right? We have a cathedral and such, but it feels so level designy, right? It doesn't feel like you can actually live in here or use it as a place of worship. This kind of feels just stuffed in here without any meaningful, in no meaningful way. If you know what I mean here. I mean, it has a few nice assets, but the way they are placed in this place feels kind of off. It feels kind of barren, even though yes, it's supposed to be underwater, and the majority of things are gone by the water, deteriorated and such. But it kind of Why is the layout this way is kind of weird. But the individual assets are kind of nice, and the level overall was nice before we started with ulcerated tree spirits again. I couldn't really understand what he said. It sounded like fire, seek them or something. Fire was sure, but it's kind of interesting that this is the... Excuse me. That this is the only Fire Knight that talks. Somewhat. And here we have this weird as elevator, which is... Like, you can't even convince... Like, what is this? It's for a jump. You have to jump the gap. Like, what? That was kind of butt clenching close over here. But we are now back on this part. This is the elevator that leads up. And here, let's actually try this jump. Ooh, that was close. And let's see if it's correct. Yeah, look, no running. No running required. You can do this jump without running. It's also somewhat butt clenching close. But now that there is no danger in falling down, as you can see, it's kind of fine. Finite seal, not really good. The seal is quite useless. I think even for... I mean, there might be a certain build where this seal is actually the best one for certain spells, for the Fire Knight spells, but it's outclassed by a lot of other seals. Like, why would you have bookshelves in this room when you have windows like that look like this? You have bookshelves that cover your nice looking windows. That's the design is weird. A cookbook, no decoration over here. This is actually a wall where you could have placed the bookshelves. But no, where does this one lead to? Death, alright. And then there's no altar over here, but I guess the dude who talks to the people sitting down here on the benches, because this looks like a church, right? Or like a chapel or something. Stands up there and talks down to them so they can hear him. But then you have this weird ass door down here, which apparently, well, it leads to the tree, as it says, right? I mean, it says it on a door. There's a big ass tree. And look how deep this is now. Look how fast this elevator should be. I think this might be the second fastest elevator here in this DLC. I would be kind of terrified going down or up this elevator. Imagine the G-forces you would experience if you would go up. Down, maybe not. No, it's quite unnerving. I would feel quite unnerved by an elevator like this. I always find it weird how the lighting is with movable objects. Like the rock on this elevator has no... Like the lighting is completely off. Even this lighting is completely off. Because here we have a light source. Probably just some engine problems, but let's take out a... Here the lighting works fine. Maybe it's just a darker material. And why is it so bright down here? We are currently here, but I guess it's supposed to be... Nah. I mean, it wouldn't make more sense if this crater over here would be on this part, or we would actually be underneath the open sky here. But this area kind of reminds me of Dark Souls 2 level design, really. Looks kind of like Dark Souls 2, doesn't it? Like when you jump down the hole, where you have the chest over here, where the and the bridge where you have to jump over before you end up in the gutter. And here we get one Iris of Grace. And then this is the area to the boss. And we are now at the foot, or as close as we can get to the foot of the shadow tree over here. I won't approach though. And America's Rune. Now let's get back to the sunken chapel and ride up the other elevator that is in the chapel, so we gain access to the second part of the storehouse, which, excuse me, it's so loud, which should be the majority of this video. I still understand fire seek them. I kind of wasted a lot of time here, but I feel like I'm kind of quick. I kind of went quick through this level without being too like... I feel like I didn't waste that much time on this level, even though it's fairly short. But now let's have a look at this elevator. This one should be the fastest one, if I remember correctly. Nah, it's not. It's definitely not the fastest one. And the fastest elevator in the entire game is probably the one that leads from Melania's boss arena up to wherever it leads to. I think that one is the fastest one. But now we're back in the Specimen Storehouse. If you remember, down there is the place with the secret bookshelf. That's the secret bookshelf over here, the one that reveals this passage. Then this dude, if you've played the game, is constantly firing fire shit at you without you being able to approach him. And now we're on his side, we can actually get rid of him. And we're back in one of my favorite levels. For the upcoming area, you might, if you're able to use these weapons, you might want to use one of the great bows and some great arrows, just for their knockback capabilities. But I will show you why in a short time. Here we're getting the second and only thrusting shield, if I'm... Yeah. These are the only thrusting or dueling shields, whatever you want to call them. They're called thrusting shields. Arguably the better one. I think they've nerfed that one. They were very overpowered. Might still be with a certain buff. But we have this. This feels so weird, this weird ass ladder. And I feel like there's a mechanic missing here where you can actually decide where to leave the ladder. Right? This shouldn't be... They should have implemented a mechanic like this in Dark Souls 2, I feel like. Way back. Where you have a ladder and... Let's say I want to get to this wooden platform. You could press the get off the ladder button and then actually step to the side. Maybe make the hole a bit smaller, right? More accessible, but I kind of feel like it's a missed opportunity of having one ladder for different stories. But why this ladder exists here, like, this feels so goofy. How do we connect these two places with each other? I know, big ass ladder, please. Feels so unsafe. I wouldn't use this ladder in real life. No shot. There's so many areas I wouldn't get to. But this is now a completely unexplored area, of course, of the Specimen Storehouse. That's the only way of getting here, so you haven't missed anything up to this point. Let's keep exploring, because it might get a bit more complex. Here we, for example, have a way of going to the outside again, so there's an outside part here, but let's see what the inside has in store for us. There shouldn't be that much. Nope, there's nothing, in fact. Technically we can jump down here, but if we have a look at the area, this is an area that we have been before in the previous episode. This is the spinning thingy that we spun the last time to gain access to what place in particular? This door back there, this balcony. This inward facing balcony over there. So the only way onward, and technically we can probably jump on that thing, but that wouldn't do anything. I mean, we would regress in progress, but we could technically jump on that thing. The only way onward is through this wrong wall. So let's do it. Let's see what's there. We've been down there as well. This is where the bats came from above. Or maybe not, because I was invisible. Just some miscellaneous items. Nothing special so far. Less bone shard. Another site of grace, which is nice because the upcoming area is fairly dangerous. There are quite a few dangerous jumps. We can technically jump down here, but why would we? Isn't this the place we just came from, maybe? Actually don't know. The wall should be... I think that's the place that we just came from, right? Now don't jump down there anyways. Take this elevator. Look back on this elevator. Was it forward? Oh, it's forward. That's the wrong elevator. So, dangerous area ahead. Here you might want to use the big ass bow, because then you can get rid of a few enemies that might irritate you. For example, this one over there. Am I aiming at it? I am. Right. Well placed shot, even if you deal almost no damage, we'll get rid of them. And then you don't have to fight them on this narrow, granted not that narrow walkway. If you remember back to Dark Souls 1, in the Anolondo Cathedral thingy, these were small walkways. But this is not small, this is fairly big, fairly generous. Doesn't mean that it's not dangerous though. While these bats are fairly harmless, there is a specific Fire Knight that we can't see right now because this wooden beam is in the way, but there is a specific Fire Knight, if we have a look over there, which is one of the Fire Knights that knows the force push, whatever it's called, incantations, that will push you away. But here we have different options. What we can do, technically, is we can go over here, jump down on this cogwheel, jump down on this platform, and I think bypass the Fire Knight. There should be a ladder over there. Yeah, we can see the ladder over here. This bypasses the Fire Knight, much easier to do. But we have to deal with these bats that you again can get rid of by using the bow. Same with the Fire Knight, you can get rid of the Fire Knight by using the bow. But then if you're doing this, you need to loop back around because you probably want to have this item over there. Right, it's shiny. It's a more dangerous route, but there's an item down here. Grab this item. And here we get Wrath from afar, and this is the spell that I mean. The dangerous spell that I mean, that this one knows. You can probably get rid of that dude from up here as well. C4, oh, that's even worse. Yeah. Maybe now you can... Here we have the spell in question. Of course he can't hit me right now. Let me get rid of them. So that he's silent. But yeah, be careful. You might want to shoot him from the other side, apparently. I guess from that side over there. Even if you decide to not jump down on that cogwheel and climb up this way, but you can shoot him from that beam over there that we just stood on. But now we're here. I forgot to grab this item over there. Oh no, I didn't forgot, I couldn't. Or could I? No, I jumped down there. Yeah, I forgot to grab this item over there. Whoops. Doesn't matter though. Now the real way, now we have two paths. Two somewhat meaningful paths. First path is jumping down here. with the ladder to this area there, right here. Or we can explore the area up there where the Fire Knight was, which is here. Don't ask me why there are elevators on these very unsafe beams. And we even have candles on this wooden floor, like, and then there is, not right now, but then there should be an item up there. As you can see, there's a body. I show you how you can get this soon enough. What we can do here now is jump to this part. Why you should do this, I don't know. But this area exists. I don't even know, it doesn't look like there's any item here. There's no hidden wall. Maybe there's an item here, I don't know. Doesn't look like there's an item. I don't know why this exists. Oh no, I do know why this exists, never mind. Or do I? I don't. I don't know why this exists. Maybe to teach you that you can jump on these roofs of the elevators. Maybe that's it. And then here again, another lone Fire Knight with dual daggers. An item over here. And that's that. But how do we get to this item up there? First, we need to take the elevator back up, of course. This elevator is the key to the whole thing. And now just send it down. Stand up here. Send it down. And wait up here. Do the same thing with this elevator. Send it down. And then jump on this roof. And just jump over there. No running required. And jump back. And you have your Spirit Ash of the Fire Knight. Where is it? This one. Hilde. Fire Knight Hilde. We can find up there. How she got up there, I don't know. Not my problem, honestly. Not my problem how she got there, right. So this is the only path that we can take. And this is the path that I will take now. Not really sure, doesn't look like there are any items up here, so let's continue. Where are we right now? We are very high up. I don't really see anything here. Technically, we are above the boss arena, almost above the boss arena, right? Boss arena is over here. This is, we can see this wall over here. This big structure down there. And then we can see the... Is it even the wall? Oh no. No, the wall is down there, this small thing. For some reason this place looked like the wall, and it's much bigger. Looked much bigger than this. And then we have this weird ass elevator over here. I don't know why they have all of these weird ass elevators, but they exist. This is probably the scariest elevator in the entire game. Maybe. I wouldn't ride this. No, thank you. But to be honest, I wouldn't even walk on this on this wooden platform over here. No, thank you. And we are now on one side of these doors. Which one? I have no idea. It's one of these doors, and if for some reason you can't open them, this triggers me. This kind of triggers me, because we get this useless as shortcut over here that connects these two sides of grace. Maybe they made it for multiplayer purposes, but why would you? No, doesn't make sense that we have this useless shortcut. But then they make it so that you can't open this door to somewhere inside the storehouse, which makes no sense. And then we have another elevator, and this might be the fastest one of this DLC, we will see. it doesn't look that fast to me. I mean, it's fairly fast, but not that fast, I guess. Whatever. Color change right here. It's now blue. Everything is blue now. And here we are. In the final area. Here we have another boss. Can we see him from here? Oh, there he is. I don't even need the bow here. There's the next boss. A boar and a dude on top of the boar. Amazing, right? And then, remember back to Bonnie Village, where we found the one gesture over here. We can finally have mercy for the spirited away shamans and the Shadow Tree fragment. And this message isn't here just for fun, right? It is clear, even on the map, that there is this area, and this building just looks like it keeps on going onto this side, right? So we have to do something. So let's do something. Where's the gesture? Let's go together. No. Oh mother, it's the gesture. Oh mother. Kind of hard to decipher. I mean, something that Mesmer says, I think, in this boss fight. If I remember correctly. But, well. Now we're in this place. We haven't fought Mesmer yet, right? In the shadow view area. And I think I will connect this area together with this. And maybe with the finger story. The fingering story. So, what are we doing next episode? Kind of wonder. What I will do now is go to the west rampart and explore the rest of the bridge that we have found last episode, if you remember. You can get to this way from the Specimen Storehouse, like the very first area after the first Fire Night. This is the boss arena for the Happy Hippo. You go in a circle here, and then you're in the storehouse, first floor, and then from there on you have a path that leads to the left. And this is how we ultimately end up here, going down the elevator, going through this torture chamber thingy over there with all the jars and the shamans that got violated in there. And then we are on this bridge, which ultimately leads to the raw ruins, whatever you want to. It looks kind of nice from here. I kind of wish for some windows or something in that building. Kind of looks blank from here, but this bridge is not without dangers. And the very, very end of the bridge, kind of hard to see. We can't even see him. There is a Fire Knight. A Fire Knight mage who does mage stuff. And he's using a pretty useless Mesmer incantation, which is called Rain of Fire, I think, or something similar. Let's have a look. He's using... No, Rain of Fire was correct. Which, when the player uses this thing, which by the way requires 52 faith, deals absolutely minuscule amounts of damage. Like extremely useless incantation. Worst one of the DLC, one of the worst ones in the entire game. I don't know if they have buffed it, because I'm no longer following the multiplayer buff kind of things. But to my knowledge, this thing, or at least on launch of the DLC, this incantation was absolute garbage. It was a grief. Don't use it. Never used it. You shouldn't have used it ever. It's just a waste of FP. But apparently the Fire Knight, when the Fire Knight uses it, it deals a lot of damage, so... As always, you can go on torrent, you can write here, grab a few items, but be careful, you're getting bombarded by fiery rain, and you have to heal through it, or poise through it, like, do something through it. He won't attack me right now. I think it starts somewhere over here. Like somewhere at this spot. He doesn't spawn yet. Here, I think here it starts to happen. Where fire rains, you're not safe underneath here. Maybe you're a bit safe. I don't know. Because it spawns clouds of, like, clouds above you where the fire rain happens, and then maybe you can glitch them on the walls or something. And then we have this brainiac over here. Dude with the... It looks so stupid, I don't like it, sorry. But you're getting the stupid helmet from him. And rainfire. I want to know now if it's still as useless. Do I have an upgraded talisman by any means? Don't care then. But no, we're in the raw runes. Use this as an elevator over here. Going up the tower, whatever. It's quite quick. Another side of grace. But this is basically it. This is now the entirety of the Specimen store, of the Shadow Keep, it's called, right? In total, in the Shadow Keep there are, you could argue, that there are 3 bosses tied to the Shadow Keep. One of them behind this door, which is Mesmer the Impaler. Then we have the Boar Rider over here, General Gaia, whatever, something Gaius, right? Maybe not. To gain access to ultimately a fairly useless place, like maybe this place has some low implications, it's nothing, just a few items. For the player, these are just items. And then the final boss is the guardian of the shadow tree over here. And we will all do these bosses. I think in the next episode I will do a short boss rush run, and then probably also explore this area over here to fill the episode. But I won't do the fingering area here, and I won't do this part. This is all a separate video. We will do this probably in the next episode, the episode after the next one. And then there is still this area down here that we have to explore at some point. We have this area down here that we have to explore at some point. Then we have the entirety of the raw ruins, which is a big area. Not that much happening inside this area, but it's a big area. Probably still can do it in one episode, maybe. And then we're already in this part. So, right there, these woods still to cover. I'm not looking forward to that. Maybe. But for now, this was the Shadow Keep. Minus the bosses. Let's talk about the design of the Shadow Keep, because it's certainly a fun level to go through. At least for me, I like fighting knights and normal kind of characters. I like having a somewhat difficult to grasp layout, at least for the first time. We have some NPC interactions inside. Depending on what you choose, we have some invasions, like NPC invasions, or assassination attempts by letter. So there's a lot of lore stuff in here, which is nice. And I personally enjoy this level a lot. But it has some shortcomings. The Fire Knights are kinda, depending on your choice of fighting, so depending on your fighting style, they're easy or somewhat hard to almost obnoxiously hard. It depends on what you're using. Ultimately, you have to adapt. The easiest method I find is grabbing a big heavy weapon and constantly stun lock them. And then once you run out of stamina, you back up for a time until the stamina regenerates, and then find an opportunity to stagger them again if they're not dead the first time. Depending on your build, this might be hard to achieve, but maybe it's fairly easy. So yeah, this is the Fire Knights. The layout itself is not very difficult itself, like it's one path. Maybe there's one or two branching paths, but ultimately it's not like you have 10 million options to go. But it's fairly it's very easy to lose your focus in this place because it's so vertical. So I'm not blaming you when you're getting lost in this place. But ultimately the layout or the actual level itself is fairly easy to... It's not like you have to, okay, on this junction I have to go left or I'm getting lost, and on this junction I have to go forward and then I have to go to the right. It's not like that, right? There's one path with maybe one or two branches. Then of course we have the second part that we just did right now of the Specimen Storehouse. I'm not really talking about this place right here, but I'm talking about the second part, the second half that we just did in this episode in the Specimen Storehouse. This might be another factor of uncertainty because you can see all the different parts from the first, like from the path that you can access by the storehouse first floor, but you have to come in from a different angle. This can be discouraging. You might be tempted to keep searching for this path, and then you're getting frustrated because you never find this path, or maybe you don't even have the problem because you first went in through the church district and you haven't even done this part yet, right? This might be you, this might not be you. Like, everyone's journey is different, and you might have different difficulties. But this, what I've shown you in the past few episodes, is one way of going through here. That's a fairly safe way of going through, because if you're using cheat engine, everything is safe. But it's not all lost, right? Level design wise, I enjoyed without with a few critic points here and there, right? With a few downsides here and there. For example, the doors that you find at the storehouse that you can't even open from the other side. I've shown you one example right now where there's a door that you can probably be on the other side of, but you can't open it for some reason. Would make for a useless shortcut, sure, but gives the whole place a bit more continuity, a bit more depth to it. If you have different ways, or if you have different areas that connect with each other. with each other at the end, even though they're not needed. Creating shortcuts that are unnecessary, but still there is a nice thing, in my opinion. That was level design wise. World design wise, for a fantasy world, it's a nice place. If you would build something like this, or if you would attempt to build something like this in real life, you couldn't really. Like, it's completely unbelievable, a completely unbelievable thing, with the extreme verticality and impractical things. And then there you have paths that are connected by jumps. Like, why would you design something like this in your keep? You want to have a keep that is efficient and not inefficient in its paths, and it's very grandiose. It's very game level design philosophy thingy, right? So it's fine. World design wise, it's a bit lackluster in that regard, and realism regard, even with realism in a fantasy game, but it's to be expected in a From Software game. Their strength is lying in telling a story, not necessarily depicting fantasy world realism, let's call it. Right? Fantasy world realism for me is, you can have magic, but the magic makes sense. Somewhat like that. Kind of very, very, very extremely short version. But if you've watched other videos of mine, you know what I mean by that. If you don't, well, too bad. You should watch my other videos. But whatever. What else is there? I think that's it. Overall, pretty fun level. One of my favorite levels in this DLC. There are certainly some other levels that I enjoy more, or maybe less. Like, whatever. It's a fairly solid one for sure. But that's what I have to say, and now I want to know what you have to say. Please write some comments on how you think the entire Shadowkeep is, its shortcomings, its not the opposite of shortcomings, longcomings, what? Like the pros and cons of this place, why you like it so much, or what you dislike. Write whatever you want. At least write something, please do it. Write some comments. And I'll see you in the next episode. That's it from me. Goodbye.